Next in our program, we are going to have a life transforming testimony by one of our brothers in the church, Brother Santosh, and Dr. Satya, his wife. So let's invite them onto the stage. Welcome, brothers Santosh and Dr. Satya.
Hello. How are you? It's good to see you all, my brothers and sisters in the house of the Lord. So this is Santosh Kanaraj and this is Dr. Satya. Satish Santosh. Okay. So we want to share we have seen the skit, how Jesus was born in the manger. So I want to tell you how Jesus was born in my life and in our life. Okay. Actually, I was born in a non-Christian family in India, in Coimbatore, in Tamil Nadu. You can come and stand here. She's very distant. Okay. So when I was a kid, when I wake up, I should have a cake on my hand. Then only I wake up, or else I will not get up from the bed. So previous evening, my dad used to bring 2 pieces of cakes every day to wake me up next morning. So days passed. My dad became an addicted to alcohol. So the circumstances completely changed. That day, it was the day and night difference. We didn't have anything to eat. We were only surviving with the rice which we get in ration shops. Hope you all know the ration shops from India, how good quality it is. So we were surviving only on that rice. And days again passed much more, and it became worse because my dad started drinking early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. He started drinking. So even it is become very hard to buy an pickle for 1 rupees to have a porridge which my mom makes through the ration shop rice. So that is how my days passed. So I became, I was studying 11th standard. So even I passed my 11th and 12th standard with the help of my relatives and with my one of the school teacher. I remember still her name is Velumani. So on 11th something surprising happened, no? I saw her in my school. We fell in love with her. So we started, it was in 2002, we started loving. But because from my childhood, I was seeing my parents fighting every day because of my dad. He always doubts at her because he was also not from big family or open-minded family. He doubts my mom in front of me. He beats her. He speaks bad words. So this started to influence me as well. So when I started loving her, I too started to treat her as my dad treated my mom. I have beaten her many times. I have shouted her and yelled at her, and even I will not allow her to go to a restaurant with her parents because she might see some boys there or some boys might see her. Because for me, she is beautiful. Okay, so I'm just adding it, okay? Okay, don't worry. So, during these times, I can't control myself. These doubts or these addictions or other bad things which I was yelling at her, I can't control myself. Again, the days passed. We completed our 12th standard, and she went for doing her medicine in Armenia. She's a doctor indeed. So, I went to a college in Coimbatore. I started my Bachelor's of Commerce degree. And even during my degree, as usual, we are in the teens. So, my friends suggested me that the best way to celebrate anything is drinks. Beer, whiskey, and everything started all together. Other side, my dad was drinking. This side, I was drinking. So altogether, I was also become a drunkard. During my first year, people started telling me if I keep on loving her, her parents would kill me. Because I was not from a big family. She was from a well-to-do family. So after a year, she came for her annual leave and she was in a hospital doing her training. I went to meet her and said to her openly in face-to-face, see, I want to break up with you. I don't like you because you are not fair. she was literally crying. She was literally crying on that day. So she went out of the hospital. We went out of the hospital to spend the last few minutes with me. She even came to touch my cheek. I even still remember, I threw her hands off. Then I said, I don't want to see you anymore in my life. So that is the day when I saw her last. During my third year in Bachelor's of Commerce, by some means, she got my contact.
That's not some means, it's God's means. Because I've been searching for him, and I was literally searching for him. I tried to contact everybody, my friends, his friends, all the number that he has given me earlier to contact him, because those days it was hard. I didn't have a mobile, he didn't have a mobile. We used to just talk, in the first year, we used to share or say something in emails. That was the only possible way. And so when he gives me some number, I have to walk a few miles to call him. And so after that, after the first year that he said no, I was searching for him. I called his college. I called many people that I knew, that whom he gave the numbers to. And everybody said, I don't know him, or he's not here, something or the other. And I was literally in tears. Like some days I remember I used to go to a pool, a lake there, and I'll be sitting there literally watching nothing. Watching the water maybe. But days passed by, one of my friends in my roommate, she's my roommate, she said, if he is the person that God has ordained for you to be your husband or your lover or your partner, God will surely bring him to you. If not, this will not work out. Just you have to accept the fact that he's not going to be in your life. But that was not an satisfying answer for me, because I'm not a Christian that time though. But all that I knew is I wanted him. I want to marry him. I want him to be my life partner. That was so assuring in my heart. But what she said, see, if God wants it, he'll bring him. Otherwise, it will not going to work out with you. So you have to move on, which I couldn't move on that time. It was so hard. And she told me certain verses in the Bible, little words. And that time I don't know the meaning of the words, because I was into another religion which I strongly believe, and where I used to pray for more than 2 hours. I used to meditate on those words that the religion that I belonged to had. And then after a few months or maybe years, because by some means I got his number, I tried to talk to him, and finally I found him.
Okay, so next episode starts now. Okay, so once she called me back, and I said, see, God gave me the heart to accept her back into my life. I'm not a big person to accept her back into life. It is by God's grace she's having in my life even today. So she was still in Armenia when she called me in third year. So when she was in Armenia, I asked her to text every 5 minutes. Whether she's in the class or whether she is sleeping, I want her to text every 5 minutes what she's doing. Because I was training her perseverance. Okay, so funny. Okay, so one day what happened? She was completely vexed and fed up and gave up on God because of my torture, continuous torture, right? So she left praying to God. Maybe because of my treatment or my torture of continuously shouting her bad things or many things. One of her friend, who is her roommate, she was a Christian. So she shared something from the Bible, and just seek Jesus, these things will be changed completely. So she started reading the Bible. That I don't know. So one day, one of her friend's mom in Coimbatore, she contacted me. She contacted me and said that, do you know, Satya's reading Bible and talking to Jesus. She's speaking in different language. Then I said, I don't know, auntie. I know only that she can speak Tamil and English. I don't know what is the other language she's speaking. Then on that moment, I asked her to call me. Once I asked her to call me, she should call within a minute. Then she called me that evening. I shouted like something. I said, If you are reading the Bible, just leave me. If you want Jesus, just leave me. Just break up. I don't want you. Then I started shouting Jesus Christ like something bad. No, even the people who have crucified Jesus Christ have never spoken those words. I spoke ill about Jesus Christ. With the same mouth, I'm speaking to you about Jesus Christ, what He has done in our life. Then she came back after her studies, and then her parents started to look for another country for her masters. There was another big stone on my head. Because it is 6 years she's abroad. I don't know what to do. But I was working as an accounts assistant with 2,500 rupees salary. She was a doctor. I don't know how her parents will accept me to marry her. So these things were going on in my head. And parallelly, I was also becoming an expert in drinking whiskey and alcohol. Whenever there is a festival, we will be the first people, our friends, we go to the wine shops and drink full night. So slowly I was dragged into the alcoholism. I can't control. And if I get anger, I can't control myself. Nobody can control me either. I have broken many things when I become angry. I will beat on the wall. I will stamp the things. And I have a pocket knife that time. I used to stamp my arm. Blood will start flowing. Whenever we get a fight, I will start stamping on myself. So these days, like these things passed. One day, we thought of meeting outside. So we both decided that we can go and meet somewhere. On that day, I was drunk. It was in, I think, afternoon. I met her. We had some problem on that day as well. I started beating her in the public, on the road. So the crowd started forming. The people started gathering around us. And those people decided to take me to police.
Rescue.
Yes. She came for the rescue on that day. So then I understood, okay, something's wrong going on in my life. Because I became a drunkard. I cannot control my anger. Even I started beating my dad because he was alcohol addict as well. And I was completely vexed and I left my job. I was doing nothing in my life. That day I came to know that I was here for no purpose on this earth. I said this to Satya. She asked me to do something. Just go to a room today and close the door and ask God. You don't mention any name of any God, whether Jesus or any other God. No. Just ask God what the things which you have asked me. And I went to that evening, that night. I went to a room because our home doesn't have multiple rooms. We have only one room. So I want to go to another room. It is a workshop. So I went to workshop room. I was sleeping there. Then I start talking to God. I was asking Him, I don't know whether you are there or not. I don't know whether you are a Christian God or a Hindu God or a Muslim God. I don't know. But I want to know why in the world I am here. What is the purpose of my life? So while I was asking this, tears started flowing in me uncontrollably. I can't control my tears. So I slept unknowingly. I don't know when I was slept. Next morning, I said to her, Satya, I spoke to God as you asked me to do. Then she asked me, can we go to church? You know, I was from RSS background. You know what is RSS if you are from India. I like that ideology, RSS ideology. When I look any Christians or any other religious people, I want to throw them out of India. So whenever I see them, I will have a wrath and fury on other religious people, particularly Christians. But when she asked me that day, I don't know why I accepted. We went to a church. We don't know which church we went to. We don't know how to pray, how to seek things, nothing. We went there. There was a cross in front. We just kneeled down and we looked at the cross and we spoke and we asked what we need and what is happening in our life. So within few days, things drastically changed. Then God moved us to UK for our masters. So there I was joined a church, African church. There God taught me a lot of things through His word. But still, I was taking alcohol. I was doubting her. I was angry. I was speaking bad words, yelling at her. Nothing changed. But regularly, I started reading the Bible. So when I started reading the Bible started reading me. One fine day, I came to know that I don't have doubts anymore. I don't have anger. I completely left the alcohol, and everything completely drastically changed. So this is the testimony I want to share with you. So once I got this testimony, I was very much eager that I want to share with my family, because something changed in me, because everybody lost hope in me. My parents lost hope in me. Even she lost the hope that I will become a good person. But finally I was changed by something. I don't know what is that reason. So I want to share with my family in India back. So I was reading a lot of books about what India says about Jesus Christ. Then I was surprised to see because I basically from RSS background, I have already said. So because I believe in certain things, so I want to verify certain things. So I went back to the books and Vedas. So this is what the Rig Veda says about Jesus Christ, about the sacrificial animal. It must be a goat without blemish. The balushu, bush, must be placed round its head. It's a crown of thorns. It must be bound to a sacrificial post. He was tied to a post. Nails must be driven into its 4 legs till they bleed. Jesus Christ was driven by nails. The cloth covering the goat should be divided among the 4 priests. Same thing happened. None of its bones should be broken. Psalms 34 says, none of his bones is broken. The goat should be given a drink of soma juice. Finally, they gave to Jesus a juice of vinegar. After it had been slain, it must be restored to life again. Jesus Christ rose again on 3rd day. Its flesh should be eaten. We are all eating in the communion. Now these details speak about the Lamb of God spoken in the Bible exactly. And I want also to confirm with other Veda as well. So this is what Sadapta Brahmanam teach. In the Sadapta Brahmanam we read Prajapatir Yagna. Prajapatir means God. Yagna means sacrifice. So God himself is the sacrifice. In Tandya Mahabrahmanam of Samaveda, we read Shru Prajapatir Devbyam Atmanam Yagnam Krutva Prachayat. That means God would offer himself as a sacrifice and obtain atonement for sins. So I was surprised. This is what Bible tells. So God doesn't stop there. He was continuously talking to us, healing us. Even last year, I was miraculously healed of asthma. I was having asthma problem for last 5 to 6 years. I need to take 4 to 5 times inhaler every day. If I don't take any single inhaler, I will get wheezing. I can't climb 4 to 5 steps. If I climb 4 to 5 steps, I have to wait for some time until the wheezing stops. Then only I can move on. Even during those times, I can't laugh during the asthma time. If I laugh, my complete mind will black out for a few seconds. I don't know where I am, what I'm doing. So this is the good news which God has done in our life. I want to share with you. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. God bless you.
Wow, what a powerful testimony. Shall we appreciate the Lord who has done such a miraculous thing in the life of our brother Santosh and Dr. Satya.